is your full birth name?
Deodata Brasil Teixeira.
Were you named after anyone? Is there a story behind your name?
Well, the story is I was supposed to have been Odette, but when my dad went to register for my birth, they did not accept Odette because it was not a Portuguese name. So he said then Deodette. But when he got home, he did not actually checked it out. When he got home, my name was Deodata. So that's my story.
When were you born?
I was born 1959.
Where were you born?
I was born in Sanguinhal, Saint George, Açores, which is a very small little Feijão, which it was destroyed with the earthquake in 1980, so nobody lives there anymore.
What memories do you have of a child in the Portuguese American community or in Portugal?
In Portugal, the Azores, my first memories are of our traditions, and it would been the get-togethers or matanças, which is killing a pig, and the dances, then the families getting together, and I love to dance. I love the music, but when I was very small, if I was feeling like nobody was paying attention to me, I always pretend that I was sleepy, so then they would ask me to dance because I love to dance.
When did your family immigrate to the United States?
1975.
Why did your family leave the Azores? What was their trajectory to Central California?
Well, first of all, already my relatives, my dad's side, his dad has been, before he was married, he lived here. And then my mom's side, her whole family moved here starting on late 1800s. So the only ones that were left there, it was my grandfather and his family. And then he decided to also move here to give his family a better opportunity. But because my mom was married already, so she couldn't come at the same time. So they had to come first and then do the paperwork. Takes 5 years. And then that's when we came. And the reason we came like anybody else is pretty much to make a better life for my parents, was just to give us a better life.
Where did your family settle and why?
Well, why we settled in the valley in Kingsburg, and the reason why we actually moved to Kingsburg is because my dad needed when he came, you had to have a sponsor to give you a job. So the dairy, there was a sponsor, the owner of a dairy in Kingsburg, the Roaches, sponsor my dad to come and work. So he already had work when he got here.
Did your parents or grandparents ever tell you what it was like to adjust to life in a new country? What stories were passed down to you regarding their early experiences?
Well, starting again, I guess my great grandfather, again in late 1800, they talked about being in taking care of sheep. That's mostly what they did. Or my dad's dad he worked in a dairy, and it was 25 cows, and he had to milk them by hand. So all the stories is that it was tough. It was very tough, very hard. But still, they felt like they were able to make a better life.
How important was it to your parents that you be raised with a strong Portuguese identity?
Very important, even to the point that when we came, even though they did want us to have an education, but they were afraid if going to school would change our ways of seeing our traditions and becoming too adjust to the new world.
How was this identity expressed through language, foods, traditions, and festivals?
Can you ask the question again?
How was this identity expressed through language, foods, traditions, and festivals?
Yes, I mean our traditions was the Portuguese, going to the Portuguese celebrations, going to our foods. We for years and years we didn't have no different foods than what we were brought up even in the Azores. The first time I even saw pizza. I was in my last year in high school. I had home ec, and we made pizza. I never had seen pizza before. We didn't go, so our traditions was simply exactly like that we had when we came from there. Didn't change.
What cultural traditions have you maintained? Why has it been important to you to maintain them?
It's very important to keep the traditions, even though already my kids were born here, and I find that it is very important to know our heritage, and so the traditions that try to keep that we always did together was ofilós, which is like a fried donut, filós. Doing the foulage. Yeah, those are the most traditions that I'm trying to keep, that my parents no longer are alive, so we are trying to we get the family together. It doesn't matter, I do a poor job, but it still is, it's fun. It is it's important.
Have you been back to the Azores? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, I went once. I believe it was 1985. So we had a big earthquake in the 1980s, and the place that we were born, and then the place that then we moved was Feijão Redondo, after my parents bought a home there. And to see that it was completely destroyed. Everything was destroyed. So when we came, we left the cows in the fields, the chicken in the coop, everything, and then you have that memory that you're gonna go back and see the same thing. So it was very sad, very shocking to see that it had been completely destroyed, and the government did not help rebuild in that area, because it was kind of very secluded, very hard to get to. So it's like a ghost town in a way to see, and yes, very sad.
Trace, if you will, some of the experiences growing up in the Portuguese American community in the Valley throughout your life.
The experience is, again, is just you go to church on Sunday. You go to if there's a Portuguese celebration, you go to the Portuguese celebrations, and that's pretty much it. You keep just a family, and yeah, I guess that's it.
Of all you've accomplished, what are you most proud of? What proud moments do you remember in the community?
I guess for me, my proudest moments or times, it was seeing how proud my dad was of us, my parents. But there's one especially time when we built our house, and the day that we were moving in, all families is we get the families to move all our things, and the house was empty, and I put a chair for my dad in our living room, and he started looking around, and his expression, and he talked to me, and he goes, if you would have been in the Azores, there was no way you would ever have a house like this. So I think in that moment he was feeling proud that it was worth it coming over here, and at the same time we feel proud, and not just me but my brother and sisters, of being able to give them that they feel accomplished, that it was worth it, their sacrifice.
To what extent do you believe being Portuguese American has shaped the way you've moved through life, both professionally and personally?
I think it's everything. I mean, that's it. It makes you who you are. Being in a way, you almost are two different people. You are when you're home, you're Portuguese. When you go out there, you try just to blend in, but it have shaped me completely. Yes.
What does being Portuguese American mean to you?
I am very proud of being Portuguese, but I'm also very proud of this country. It have given us a great opportunities, a great our lives. I don't know how would have been our lives in the Azores. I don't know, but I don't believe the education and that even for my kids to be able for them to go to college, it was extremely hard to get an education, especially in the Azores and St. George, and especially in the little town that we lived. I probably would have wanted to been in medical, but there was no way I was going to be able, or my parents to be afford to do that.
How do you see the Portuguese American community today?
What I see is that they do live their Portuguese ways, but they also try to blend in and be they're very proud of being part of this great country.
Is there anything you'd like to share that we didn't cover?
I don't know. I think you covered pretty well. Thank you.
Thank you.